and fellow Toastmasters to this evening's meeting. A few quick housekeeping items. Bathrooms are located out that door and along the hall, while drinking fountains are located in the hall as well. Emergency exits are to the right. We ask that you silence your cell phone. This meeting will be recorded, so if anyone watches America's Funniest Videos, there you go. I'd like to open it up to you.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks once again for coming out to another Toastmaster meeting. To our members and to our guests, I'm especially happy that you made it out tonight for your first or return visit to our club. I want to give a huge thanks to our prepared speech givers tonight. I think that sounds a little funny, but I think you know what I mean. We have Larry presenting a speech this evening. We have Unu presenting a speech who somehow she pooped from our agenda, but she's definitely here and she will be giving us an incredible speech. We may have another speaker as well. Her name is Stephanie. I'm always really grateful to all of our members who have the courage to sign up for a speech, because the reason we can pull our meetings together and have this learning experience is because we have people willing to be vulnerable and sign up for a speech. And for guests and members, I want you to know that whenever you come up here, the culture of our club is we will clap for you from when you stand up to when you come up, and we will clap for you the way back, and we will smile at you while you're up here, no matter what happens. You forget, you revert to your native language, whatever, it's fine. We are here to provide a learning experience for you. So with that in mind, I will turn it over to the next item on our agenda, which will be our inspirational moment, and that I believe is given to us by Eric this evening. Yes.
Rita says it smiles, I usually get grimaces. I was browsing on Instagram and I came across a clip, somebody on a stage talking to some people. And he was talking about a book that he had read that he was inspired by, that's called Do It Scared. Anyone heard of it? The idea and the inspiration he got out of it was, if you have to do something and you're scared, do it scared. Nobody in here knows of any situations like that, right? How many of you have ever come up here and gotten scared? If you're not scared anymore, put your hands down. Okay, we know who the liars are. No matter what it is, if you come up here and you're shaking, or your voice squeaks, or your mind goes blank, that's okay. Just do it that way. Like I just said, we're all on your side. It's a learning lab here. So I looked it up. Her name is Ruth Sukuk that wrote this book. I looked up the website, got as far as looking at the website and looking at the video that she had on there. The video was on the 9 archetypes of fear. She starts to put these up, and the first one was procrastination. I go, that's me. By the time she got to the end, I still knew that that was my archetype. So my question is, in the book, do I have to read the book to find out how to deal with my procrastination before I read the book? I'm afraid so. Thank you, and when you get up here, remember we're all rooting for you. You're still gonna shake. Do it afraid, do it scared.
Another thing we do, and it's for practice, is we shake people's hands when we switch here. Sometimes we forget that it's something we try to do, and it's just part of the practice experience of being a Toastmaster member. And now I'm going to hand it over to our Vice President of Membership, Leah. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to see all of your smiling faces. I like that we have a lot of people here today and some return guests from our open house, so that is quite awesome. Today, I do want to recognize our newest member, Brianna. Do you want to introduce yourself to the club?
Hi everyone, my name is Brianna, and I actually joined Carroll Creek. I got as far as my membership was set up, and then realized I had a conflict of schedule, so I'm like, oh, I'm contributing, so you get me instead.
Thank you. Welcome to our club. And I would like to introduce our guests as well. So I'm going to start with you, Ed. Do you want to stand up and just let us know
Sure.
what brought you here?
I live in Middletown. I'm a sales executive for Axon, and do have to get up and speak in front of people on occasion. So looking forward to joining you all and getting better at doing that. So nice to meet you all.
Thank you for coming, Ed, and we look forward to seeing you back. Chris?
Hello everybody, I'm Chris. I'm from Mount Airy, and I am wanting to work on my ability to communicate my ideas more clearly, and also, as I was just telling Ed before, I guess I'm a scientist by training, and I'm very analytical, so I'm used to explaining how to go from A to Z in a very boring way. So I'm hoping that you guys can help me be able to communicate and be a little more interesting to listen to. So thank you.
Thank you, Chris, for being here. We have other scientists in the club too, so you connect with other people. Morgan, would you like to introduce yourself to the club?
Hi, my name is Morgan. I don't know, I had a professor that would keep recommending go to Toastmasters, and it's been many years, but it's been rattling around my head, so I figured I might as well.
Well, we are
people.
awesome. Well, we are glad to have you here. Thank you so much for coming, and you are welcome to come back as much as you would like.
Thank you so much.
And last but not least, Kim. Now, Kim just turned in her application, so she will soon be our newest member as well. So, welcome, Kim.
My name is Kim. I work in emergency vet med. I'm a technician. What brings me here is I'm on this journey to become a master beekeeper. So through EAS, we've been beekeeping for years. Part of the testing process is it's a 4-part test: oral exam, written exam, lab exam, oral speech. So that's what brings me here. You have to do a 5-minute prepared speech, and then they ask you 3 questions, and you have to answer them on the spot. You have 3 weeks to give a 5-minute prepared speech. They give you the topic 3 weeks, so you have 3 weeks to write a topic on that speech. I didn't quite pass it last year. I got an 82 out of 85. It was a crazy topic, pollination and cannabis. But, so, and bees don't pollinate cannabis, so that was kind of like a weird one. So I'm just trying to get better at the public speaking so I can get those 3 points and be done with this.
Wow. You guys know what's important when you need those 3 points. It's Sylvia. I do not want to overlook you, Sylvia. What brought you to my club today?
Hi everybody, my name is Sylvia. I work with Willis Towers Watson, and my goal here is I'm one of those who doesn't do public speaking, and I'm so scared of public speaking. So I did look up online groups that can help me with public speaking, and this came up, Toastmasters. So I was like, okay, let me go try this out and see how it goes. So here I am today.
Well, thank
Nice to meet you all.
Thank you so much for coming. I hope you all find that this is a supportive club. We do encourage one another. We're all at different levels, so we're all here to learn and to grow. So you are more than welcome to come back as much as you like, and we're gonna all grow together. And last but not least, I don't wanna put her on the spot, she just walked in, but Uthra is also a very new member to our club. Do you wanna introduce yourself to the club?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Putra, so I'm the newest member. So this is my second day over here, but I didn't meet everybody last week.
Awesome, well, thank you so much for joining us. And now I will turn the meeting back over to our president, Aida.
And this evening, as in every evening, we have someone called, we designate the Toastmaster of the evening. And this is the member who walks us through the agenda for the evening. And tonight, it's Aaron, so let's give him.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. It's my pleasure to welcome you here this evening. We've got a great lineup for you all tonight. And for the benefit of our members, I want to go over the format of tonight's meeting. There are 3 parts to the meeting. The first part is the prepared speeches that our members will present, and they're guided by a pathway that they use through Toastmasters, which is a curriculum that guides us through our prepared speeches. The second section is table topics, and this is an opportunity for both members and you guests. We have a lot of guests here tonight. You're welcome to participate in this part too. And it's that opportunity that we get to stand up here and think on our feet. It's like impromptu speaking, so a perfect opportunity to practice that. And the final portion of the meeting is the evaluation portion, and it's a really important part of the Toastmasters program. It's that opportunity that the speakers, as well as other parts of the meeting, get evaluated, and you get that feedback so that we can all become a little bit better. As the Toastmaster of the day, it's my duty to introduce some members that are going to be helping me up here tonight. They've taken on some roles to assist me. The first one is the timer. The timer this evening is Bothray. Welcome. He's going to tell us about his
I always look for an opportunity to be here, so I'm also thinking of doing it scared for the table topics. In my previous sessions, and I used to do that, but I've stopped doing it. That's one of the reasons why I'm here playing this role. As a timer, my responsibility is to make sure I note down all the timing for all the prepared speeches, table topics, and also the evaluation sessions. There's a timer, there's a digital meter there. For those who are speaking from here, I would request you to look at it. I'll make sure I'll place it in an appropriate place. So when the minimum time is reached, you would see a green light glowing from there. And when the middle of the speech, from the minimum to the maximum time limit, you would see the yellow light glowing. And when the maximum time is reached, you would see the red light glowing. And the speakers are expected to wrap it up in another 30 seconds. Usually the table topics ranges from 1 minute to 2 minutes. And evaluations are expected to be, so ranging from 2 minutes to 3 minutes. And prepared speeches, for those, there are 3 prepared speeches for today is what I'm thinking. And it's going to be between 5 to 7 minutes. By end of the meeting, once I'm called upon, I'll be giving my report. Thank you.
Next, we have a role called the Wizard of Oz, or the Awe Counter, and tonight that's Uthra.
I'm here as a wizard of A counter. The purpose of A counter is to note any word or sound used as a crutch by anyone who speaks during a meeting. I will be looking out for the words like be, may, ha, er. I will also note when the speaker repeats a word or a phrase such as I, or this is. So the double clutch words basically, and I'll be giving my report towards end of the meeting.
our grammarian tonight is Naveen. Naveen, come on up and tell us your little bit about your role.
Madam Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, the word of the day is resplendent, an adjective, attractive and impressive through being richly colorful or sumptuous. I haven't used this word in a very long time, and it came to mind because we are going through a gloomy period. It's very gray and rainy and wintry, and I'm hoping for some resplendence with a bright blue bright blue sky and a big yellow sun. So I am hopeful that all of you will be colorful today and use the word resplendent. So let's give it a try. It's an unusual word, but let's try doing it. My job as grammarian is to look for interesting turns of phrases, to watch for people's grammatical missteps, and to offer some suggestions if they do make missteps. I'm also going to look for interesting words, phrases, and thoughts so that we can have a report at the end of the meeting. Thank you very much.
And we've got a ballot counter tonight, and that's James. James, come on up and tell us about ballot counter.
So I am the ballot counter for tonight, and my role will be to count your votes for the best prepared speech, best table topic speech, best evaluation, and break any ties that we might have. That's about it.
Thank you, everybody, for explaining your roles. So now we've come to the point of the meeting where we're going to have our prepared speeches. And tonight, the first speaker is Larry Riggs. Larry is doing a level 1 speech from the Persuasive Influence Pathways, and it's the evaluation and feedback. The purpose of this project is to practice applying feedback that you've gotten. And I'm not sure if you're doing if this is the first or the second one, the first speech. The title of his speech is The Power of Stories. Telling stories brings life to any presentation. They take the audience from listening to spoken word to joining in an adventure. Please join me in welcoming Larry.
Power of stories. I'm kind of a statistics guy. And I heard one time that only about 16% of the population are auditory learners. So if I just get up and say words, I'm going to lose most of the audience. However, if I tell stories, I can get the audience emotionally involved. And to bring them in, there's life to it. When I was putting this together, it took me back to something that happened a few years ago. When I was in college, I used to like to write short sci-fi stories. And had a little notebook that I kept with me and kept my stories in. And went into the student center one night, and a young lady behind the counter was a friend of mine, and she knew that I wrote stories. So she said, okay, what do you got? Let me see. And so I handed her my pad, and she starts reading the intro to this story. And she's reading, she's gripping the counter, and then she says, well, what happened next? What's the rest of the story? I said, I don't know how to tell you this, but there is no story. I just wrote an intro. You know, just to see for fun. Well, you sit down and write a story. Well, I did eventually write a story for her. I got it to her a couple of days later. Now, I don't remember the intro. I don't remember the story because, frankly, it was about 50 years ago. But I remember her reaction. Because people do come alive with stories. Because it allows them to take a journey with you. I know I teach a rather long course, real estate licensing course, 60 hours of law and concept. That can be really boring. So I try to give my students stories. Because I remember when I took that class, that guy didn't use stories. Oh my goodness. What a class to sit through. But here's the thing about stories, that they could go different ways. They can be very resplendent. They can take you right into that sci-fi journey. Or they can be very encouraging. I've shared a few stories with some of you, TED Talks that are inspirational. I love somebody who faces impossible odds and wins. And it makes me feel like I can do that too. Then there are other stories that I guess go the other way. I remember a time I was a fairly new agent, didn't have much business. So we're sitting around eating lunch with 4 or 5 of us, and we started telling stories. Now, we refer to those in the business as war stories. We're talking about our childhood and all of the bad things that happened in our childhood. Now, here's the thing about war stories, though. When I tell a war story, if you're next, your response is usually going to be, well, that was bad, but that's nothing. Let me tell you about mine. Now, occasionally, war stories might get a little embellished. Mm-hmm. Well, just about all the time. Because you can't be outdone by someone else's war story. And I'll never forget, as we were telling our war stories, another agent came over, just a sweet lady, and she said, wow, I feel so sorry for you all. I had a wonderful childhood. And of course we all responded and said, well, gee, that's great. No, we didn't. It's like, get out of here. We don't want to hear that. We're having fun feeling sorry for ourselves. But I have learned to steer away from those. I do like the positive stories. I like to share success stories that I've had that I can encourage people with. My students, I like to find other people's success stories and share them with people and send them links to great TED stories, because after all, if we could be that encouraging to each other, if I could look at someone, have a conversation, especially if they're struggling with something, and say something that could be a blessing to them. I know I hadn't planned this to be part of the speech, but I think it's very powerful. About 4 years ago, we lost our son to suicide. And I posted that, and one of my past clients, and current clients, posted quickly that, you know, her sympathies, and, you know, she hoped that everything was okay with us. Well, 2 weeks after that, we had a pre-drywall walkthrough. And I pulled up, I saw them get out of their car. I could see the look on her face. She was very uncomfortable. We did the whole walkthrough, pointed out things that needed to be done, came back out, continued to talk, and you know, she was very uncomfortable. And we went our separate ways, and I felt really bad about that. And I thought, you know, I need to say something to her. So I did. I messaged her and I said, look, I know you were very uncomfortable there, but I want you to understand that when she responded actually and said, I was afraid that if I said anything it would upset you. And yet probably would have, but here's the message I want to get out here. I knew that she felt terrible, and so I encouraged her. I said, you know, listen, thank you for your sentiments, but this is your day. You and your husband are moving into a brand new house. I'm excited for you. This is great. And she responds, yes, you're right. It is my day. And the thing that I found out is, you know, sometimes even when we're in a struggling time, we can pick ourselves up by giving somebody else a good story. And then it benefits us too. And I have found that in many situations. If I'm going through a struggle, and I can encourage someone else who's trying to comfort me, it makes me feel good. And ideally, I hope it makes them feel good too. But the point is, now I want to bring up to you, what is the most powerful story that you have to deal with? And that's very simply the story that you tell yourself about yourself. What goes on in here? Because nobody else hears that. They may hear all the positive stuff that you're supposed to say. I just went to this seminar and I'm supposed to be positive and all that, but really what's going on in my head isn't there. My coach calls those drunk monkeys. She says, do not listen to the drunk monkeys. So I'm going to leave you with that. What is the story you tell yourself every day? Because that's the most important story.
is Jody Schmidt. She is doing a level 3 speech from the Pathways Dynamic Leadership, and the title of her speech is Inspire Your Audience is the type of speech she's doing, and the title of her speech is Grit, the common thread of resilient people. Have you ever wondered what defining characteristic distinguishes people who are resilient from those who are not? It isn't just hard work, it's grit. Grit is the ability to stay focused on a goal and bring it to completion despite facing setbacks. According to Professor Angela Duckworth, grit is the best indicator of success. Grit is strongly interconnected with the growth mindset. Please join me in welcoming Jody.
Have you ever wondered what it is that makes some people successful and resilient? Is it intelligence, or is it some other factor? I believe that the secret ingredient to success is an attribute called grit. 3 individuals who've been enormously successful have this trait in common. And those individuals are Abraham Lincoln, Amy Cuddy, and Amy Purdy. Angela Lee Duckworth, professor of psychology at the University of Pennsylvania, has described grit in the following words. Grit is sticking with your future, day in and day out. It's not just for the week, it's not just for the month, it's for years. Common threads of these 3 individuals. Abraham Lincoln suffered a series of personal losses throughout his lifetime. He lost his mother, his sister, his son Eddie, and his sweetheart Anne Rutledge. And in 1841, he had a nervous breakdown. And he also struggled with lifelong depression, in addition to all of this. Amy Purdy suffered from a bacterial infection in which she lost both of her legs below the knee, her spleen, and one of her kidneys, and her hearing in one ear. And Amy Cuddy, I don't want to get those two confused, suffered a traumatic brain injury at age 19 in a car accident. Another common thread these individuals have is they all persevered with their personal goals in spite of these setbacks and circumstances. So for instance, Abraham Lincoln became the 16th president of the United States in 1860, despite repeated political defeats in 1855 and 1856. 1855 was the vice presidential election that he was part of, and 1856 was the presidential election. He lost both of those. Now, Amy Purdy had learned to snowboard at age 15, and she dreamed of returning to snowboarding after her bacterial infection, which kept her in bed for about 2.5 months. So several months after that infection, she returned to snowboarding. And Amy Cuddy is a social psychologist. She's the author of Power Pose Theory, and she's also a motivational speaker on TED Talks. If you want to hear more about her story. And she's since gone on to become a professor at Princeton University, as well as obtaining a doctorate in philosophy in 2003. So I'm going to break down that word grit for you. We start with G. G is for growth. And individuals that have grit grow beyond their limitations. These limitations can be physical limitations, They can be psychological limitations or educational. And I'm sure there are others, but I'm just gonna stick to those three. So for instance, Abraham Lincoln had a very limited formal education. However, he continued to build on his education by a program of continuous reading on books of many different subjects. And he found a mentor when he moved to Springfield, Illinois, who helped him train to become a lawyer. Resilience. R is for resilience. Quick definition of resilience: advancing despite adversity. Physical limitations. Amy Purdy, who I discussed a little bit earlier ago, has some special needs. But she didn't let those get in her way of continuing to return to snowboarding. Now, one more part of her story is that she had these artificial legs that the hospital gave her, and they were very difficult to walk in and very uncomfortable. And to deal with that, she ended up making her own legs that fit better and were more comfortable, and they allowed her to return to snowboarding. So about 4.5 months after her illness, she was back on the slopes and doing snowboarding. And today she's a Paralympic snowboarder. She's won the 2014 bronze medal and the 2018 bronze medal, both in Paralympic snowboarding. Initiative. Initiative is problem solving without having somebody tell you what to do. So my example for that is Amy Cuddy. So despite what doctors told her after her accident that she wouldn't be able to continue her higher education, she didn't want to accept that, and she decided that she was going to pursue her education in spite of that. So she went on to finish her bachelor's degree, and now she has a doctorate of philosophy. The last part of grit is tenacity, and that means to be extremely determined. So all three of these individuals were extremely determined in meeting all of their specific goals. And Abraham Lincoln's goals were educational, to train to be a lawyer. They were political, to become president of the United States. Amy Purdy's goals were sports related. She wanted to return to snowboarding and make that an Olympic sport. And Amy Cuddy's goals were to further her higher education and become a professor. Since then, she's become a professor at Princeton University. I'd like to leave you with a question. Can you learn to be gritty in your own life? I'm returning back to Angela Lee Duckworth. She said that there's 4 different recommendations that she suggests if you want to develop your gritty skills. And for the sake of time, since I'm running out here, I'm only going to list 2 of those strategies. And the first strategy is to cultivate deliberate practice. And the second strategy is called the hard thing rule. So with deliberate practice, you want to set up a schedule where you're going to learn to master a specific skill. So of course, since I'm an artist, I talk about drawing. So in my example, I did a 30-day drawing challenge, 30 days of drawing portraits for 45 minutes a day, set the timer for 45 minutes, and then post the results on Instagram. And then the second strategy is called the hard thing rule. So like the deliberate practice, you want to pick something that you want to become a master in. And the hard thing rule involves concentration, repetition, and in this case it involves feedback. I think I got them all. Repetition, concentration, repetition, feedback. And the one thing about this that I want to mention that's really important for the hard thing rule is that you can't give up on finishing that activity, whether it be ballet or track or violin. You can't finish it you can't give up until the class ends or the semester ends. So that's the commitment part of the hard thing rule. So I'd like to leave you just with this one thought. What thing do you want to become a master in? And what's your plan for achieving that?
to get up here and do the hard thing, right? So thank you for that. We've got one more speech for the evening, prepared speech. Have you ever come across a name you weren't sure how to pronounce? Unu knows this challenge all too well. Instead of just explaining, she's turning it into a learning experience. Tonight she'll introduce you to the Korean alphabet. And in just 5 minutes, you'll be amazed at how simple it is. Get ready to see the language in a whole new way. Unu Kang will be doing a level 1 speech from Writing a Speech with Purpose in the Motivational Strategies. Her speech title is Master the Korean Alphabet and Finally Pronounce Unu like a native.
Give me a second to put up my slides.
What's your name? 3 simple words, yet terrifying when I was standing in line at Starbucks. Every time I said my name, I was met with a puzzled look and a hesitant, huh? Or sorry? I'd spell it out, only to find another confused face and hear them try their best guesses, which were never right. So after enough awkward situations, I gave up. I became Kate, I became Nancy. Once I even became Unicorn. But my real name is Unu. My dad gave me this name. He loved traveling around the world, and he had a lot of struggle introducing himself. His name is Hwang Il, and nobody could pronounce it properly. So when I was born, he said, I'll give my daughter a very simple and globally friendly name. Well, nice try, Dad. Turns out, he didn't realize that even Unu will leave people scratching their heads. But I love my name. I love it so much that I didn't make an English name like many of my Korean friends do. Instead, I make a mission to teach people how to say it. So today, you'll get a free Korean lesson. And by the end of the speech, you'll be able to pronounce Unu like a native. Are you ready?
Ready.
Good. So let's start with Korean alphabets. Trust me, Korean alphabet Hangul is the most scientific, resplendent, fascinating writing system in the world. Unlike other languages that evolve over time, Hangul was deliberately invented so that people can easily learn it. The secret behind it is that the shape of the letter is the shape of the mouth that you make that sound. Let me show you. Focus on your lips when you make these sounds. Mom, baby, pig. Did you notice that your lips are closed first and then open to make that sound? In Korean, we call it the leap sounds. So, the shape of the consonants are the shape of square to mimic the shape of the lips. Let's try another example. Now focus on your tongue when you make these sounds. No, dog, turtle. Did you notice that the tip of your tongue is touching the back of your teeth? So, the tongue sound looks like a bent tongue. In Korean, we have 5 types of sounds. First, the molar sound, like g. Then, the tongue sound and the lip sound that we did. The dental sound, like s, so that you see your teeth is working. And then the throat sound. So, these is how Korean consonants are designed. Pretty cool, isn't it? Yes. Then the vowels. In Korean, there are three simple elements in the vowels. The dot, representing heaven, the horizontal line representing the earth, and the vertical line representing humans. With these three elements, 10 vowels were created. So now you know the Korean alphabets. And now it's time to play Lego. In Korean, we make a block to represent one syllable. So one block consists at least one consonant and one vowel. So even though you don't understand Korean, you know you can count how many syllables are there in the word just by looking at it. For example, I just made this name in Korean. Tom, Jody, Aida. See how one block makes one syllable. Now let me show you how I write my name. You see, there are 2 syllables, 3 consonants and 2 vowels. So the circle is a throat sound, which means it's silence until you meet a vowel. This red one is the tongue sound, like we just learned. It's like the N as noon. And the vowel are and U. Now let's break the tricky part, the vowel U. It's mixed of E and U. And let me tell you how to pronounce it. First, it's 2 steps. First, make your mouth shape to make E, but don't make the sound. Then, keep that mouth sound and try to make the sound oo. Remember, you have to keep the mouth sound. So try with me. Oo. So put it together. It's nu. There you go. Now you can pronounce my name like a native. Names are more than just words. It contains stories and identities. I struggled with mine for a long time, but I take a mission to teach you how to say it. Next time, when you meet someone with a name that is unfamiliar, ask them how to pronounce it and ask them the story behind it. Because learning a name is not just about pronunciation, it's about respect and connection.
That was fascinating, wasn't it? Thank you, Unu. So we're going to take just a short break before we get to table topics. So let's, it's 7:25. Let's just take a 5-minute break and come on back at 7:30, 7:31, right around there. Okay? Thank you.
He was ashamed of his name. I wish he was so much older, but like he was different than it. Because like he was ashamed of his name, so he met this other young man. And he became proud of his name. Hers is more like, I'm proud of my name.
Do you remember what his name is?
Yeah, he was from Zimbabwe. 2022.
That's awesome. That's great.
Here you are hiding behind abbreviations. Where's the J stand for? Where's the other J stand for?
So mine is different. Mine's like complicated. Mine's like, Johanna. The problem is mine's very cool. So when I went to university, I was class and like half of my friends had the exact same name. So like, right, the oldest guy gets to keep his name, and you get a nickname, you get a nickname, you get a nickname, and then like you have another J, so it's like Ryan J. Like, yeah, you can go with that, J.
There's an interesting study about people who grow up and speak a language where they don't have sounds that are in other languages, and then actually the neural pathway shuts down for that. And they did a fascinating study. They were working primarily with Japanese in the study, and what they found, like kids that are raised to be bilingual have no problem. The Japanese adults had a very difficult time with English pronunciation. So what they did is they just focused on the English pronunciation for 2 weeks, and it rebuilt the neural pathway, and they were able to pronounce the words. So I think about that sometimes when I meet somebody whose name has sounds that English doesn't have, and I was like, there's nothing I can do to pronounce that name. It takes practice. You have to really train your brain to be able to say those sounds.
We have that. We have, back in time, we have one tribe, native language, which is they speak clicks. So you've got the, they speak clicks, like, which one? And then when you actually say it, speaking, it's like a brain stuff, like pause, make sound, and then like carry on. Whereas native people,
And there's the stories of missionaries going to China and bringing hymns and translating the hymns. Something different than what they intended to do.
It's just one but what about code?
In the same language, my mom's got a Puerto Rican, so my Puerto Rican husband's to tell me, okay, we'll teach you Spanish, but you won't understand Mexican Spanish. They speak the same words, different pace, different accents. It's interesting, how the different dialects develop even in the same language.
How many different dialects we have just in America? And like depending on what part of the country you're in, it sounds totally different. But
yeah, go down to Louisiana and try to understand what you're saying.
Very it was just tough. It's like, there's a lot of
I never even
a lot of natives don't know how to explain how.
But everybody's
Never seen that. There you go.
I live in Middletown.
Yeah. It's really easy. So many exceptions.
Some will be like, I tried to raise and Scott. I am actually trying to get it going. Use like
All right, everybody. Get everybody back into the room. All right. Hope everybody had a nice little break. So now we are at the next part of our meeting, which is really a very exciting part of the meeting. It's the Topics Master. And tonight we've got Dallas is going to be leading us on that. Just a reminder that guests are welcome to participate in this, and it's our opportunity to think on our feet. Dallas Winchett.
I'm half Filipino from Hawaii, and one thing that I loved about my family was that we would gather around at our parties and bring out the karaoke machine. So my theme for today is songs. I'm gonna have a person come up, pick a song from my little bag, and talk about either what memories this song has for you, what experiences, or even what the song means to you. So with that, this will be a 1 to 2 minute speech. Anybody that wants to come up can join, guess, or Toastmasters. So anybody want to try?
Tell a story about the song.
Anything you want.
Can you sing it?
Or sing it.
You can sing it too.
Hit it.
I bet JD's voice is resplendent.
That was a slip in.
I know this song. So this, everyone knows this song. In fact, you might think you don't know this song, but you absolutely do know this song. In fact, I will say everyone knows this artist really well. Everyone knows him by name. Everyone even knows who they're dating. In fact, this song is Blank Page by Taylor Swift. Now personally, I'm not a big fan of this song, but I've listened to it multiple times whenever I'm in the car with my wife. Because she's like, oh, we just have to put on Taylor Swift. It's only a 40-minute drive. Taylor Swift for 40 minutes. I'm like, yeah, it sounds amazing. I can even put on my rock and roll music, but I have to listen to literally a blank page. And again, this Sunday, we will all be graced with Taylor Swift's presence at the Chiefs versus the Eagles game. So that is my speech on the blank page.
Anybody else? You want to try it?
I always say to myself, if you've heard the radio on a construction site, you know anything's game. But the song I'm referring to is done by Journey, and its title is Don't Stop Believing. Yeah, I see a number of you nodding your head. It's a good classic song.
Stephanie?
So this song, I don't know what era it's from. I'm somebody who, when you flip music on, I'll just start like dancing. I don't know why I just love to dance. I'm not gonna dance for you. But the song is I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys. I will say, this song would be really hard to dance to. It's kind of like that tempo where you can't just like bebop it and dance. It's kind of like this half slow-mo but not a slow dance. And I can tell you that I have been at parties in the past and recently my work party, and somebody requested the song and I sat down. I had no idea how to dance to this song. Not one of my favorites. Hey, it's music and I love music.
So of course I'm a little nervous to be up here because I've not done this before, but I thought, oh my God, if I get something like Taylor Swift, I don't know what I'm gonna say. I'm not a Swiftie. But I do like movies and I do like musicals. I really liked watching this movie with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper because I thought that it was a way for me to see an artist that I didn't really listen to her, but I got to see her as an actor and thought that she did an amazing job and loved her musical range. It's the song Shallow.
Is that time for any more?
Yeah, you got some
or-
time. Yeah, sure.
Tilly?
Mr. Table Topics, fellow Toastmasters, and guest present. Of course, I pick the one from the greatest singer that we have done, Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston. Can anybody guess the title of the song by Whitney Houston here? Always Love You. Another person?
My heart will go on.
Another try?
The Bodyguard soundtrack.
Well, I want to dance with somebody.
She had some in.
I want to dance with somebody. It's a song I listened to a couple of times. If you know me very well, I love music. Even at just my company's birthday, I make people sing. I make them do karaoke because I love singing. And I have a tradition of doing this every end of the year towards Thanksgiving. But this is a song I've never picked before. But for the most, I think my wife liked this song a lot. She liked to pick this song, and we sang it together before. But when I think about this song, I think about the fact that we need to be in the moment and just forget about the sorrows that we are going through, the challenges and things like that, and just dance with somebody. Enjoy the moment, live in the moment, and just reach out to somebody. You never know that impact that you're gonna make if you reach out to somebody and dance with them. And one of the programs that I like watching, music dancing. There's a guy that goes in the street and just call people to sing and ask such individuals, how do you feel after you finish singing? And most people say they feel bad. I can bet it's gonna be the same thing with dancing. Dancing makes people feel better. So why not try dancing if you have a chance?
Yeah, one more. Anybody?
Okay.
James.
Let's see, can I choose another one just because I don't know? Someone You Love by Louis Capaldi. I'm sorry if that's disappointing to some people. Now, if there are any heavy metal classics in here. Oh, there you go. Everyone knows Sweet Caroline by Night. And it holds a special place in my memory. We would play this song in high school as a marching band, and it was always so gratifying when you get to the big line, the music's building, it's swelling, everyone knows what's coming next, and the horns are ready to go, and ba ba ba. Everyone's excited. It was always a good time, and it really captured that spirit that you get when you're at a high school football game, team's winning, and the crowd's fired up, and maybe no one's there to see the band, but we're a part of the action. Sweet Caroline will always hold a place in my heart for that reason.
All right, that's all I have for table topics, and bring it back to the Toastmaster.
Thank you. Next part of our meeting is a very important part of the Toastmasters experience, and it's the evaluation portion of our meeting. It gives the speakers an opportunity to get that feedback to help us all improve, which is a lot of the reason why we're here, right? So at this time, I'd like to hand over this session to our general evaluator, who's Tolu tonight.
Thank you. As the general evaluator today, I have 3 roles. The first is to call each of the evaluators of the speakers today. The second is to call our helpers and give a report, and also to say something about the meeting, to let us know how we did today. And evaluating, by the way, we all know it's a 2 to 3 minutes evaluation. The timer is at the back. Please watch the timer. Evaluating the first speaker today, Toastmaster Larry Riggs, is going to be a Toastmaster Stephanie Page.
Well, Larry, let me start out by saying there was something different about you with this speech tonight. I think maybe because I've done many evaluations on you, I've seen many of your speeches. They're all different, but there was a different energy about you, I felt like, tonight. There was humor, not that you're not a funny guy, but there was humor, there was vulnerability, and there was a storytelling that you shared with all of us, storytelling that you did share. I thought it was unusually good. I'll just say that, something different. I will say that I loved the hand gestures here, and you were just kind of feeling the speech. I just felt like it wasn't a checkbox speech. I felt like this was something in your heart that you really believed in and that you wanted to share. And I think, knowing you for almost 3 years now from Toastmasters and some of our recent exchanges and conversation, I really feel like deep down, you really want to inspire people. I feel like that's really important to you. And what you shared here, I have experienced firsthand as a friend. and I'm sure you've shared with other people as well in your mentoring relationship. So I really felt like this was who you are, Larry, and I feel like I wanna just suggest that keep doing it, because I think at the end of the speech, I felt like inspired. It was like a feel-good speech. Even though there were times where, you know, you weren't expecting to talk about the loss in your family with your son, and you're like, this wasn't even part of my speech, but I just felt you were so into the speech, it was just so heartfelt that you just felt like you had to share this message. And so you even gave the example of something that you've been through that's hard, but you lived you were selfless, and that you were more concerned about this potential new buyer and giving to somebody out of your own pain. And I think that really speaks highly of the individual that you are, and how you want to inspire people. So I just felt really touched by your story. I like the drunk monkeys you talked about. I thought that was really clever. Never heard it like that, and I will probably start using that phrase, and I will look forward to hearing and seeing what comments and body language I get from other people when I do that. I did like backing up to the beginning. You're like, I'm a statistics guy, and I'm like, that's so Larry. Like, you're just like, it's so your personality. It kind of reeled me in, like, tell me more. What do you mean about statistics? But then you started talking about your life, and I felt like you're not just a statistics guy. Like, you have a big heart, and you have a lot to tell people. In terms of things to work for your next speech, the only thing I noticed was sometimes when you would look over to the left, your eye contact would kind of like go down. I wouldn't really see the eye contact to like the room as much, maybe more so this side. I feel like everywhere we've been, this side kind of gets a little neglected, maybe because there's more people. But I noticed I would see you look at other people, and then when you came over here, I would never see your eye contact on my side. And I think that's something to work on. Everything else was great, your vocal variety, your hand gestures, the story you haven't reeled in, and your takeaway. What's the story you're gonna tell yourself? That was really powerful. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, taking us further in this resplendent evaluation is our second evaluator, Leah Woodley. She's going to be evaluating Jody Smith's speech.
Well, Jody, it was very pleasant to hear you speak today. It's always good to see people speak that we don't see speak typically, so it was great to have you speak today and inspire us. Jody's speech, the purpose of it was to inspire her audience. So she was to practice writing and delivering a speech that inspires. The speech was to be engaging. She was to be aware of her audience's response and adapt the speech as needed. And she was to be sure that she was interacting with her audience. You did that when you first came up here, and you started by asking us a question. That was very powerful and impactful. That allowed us to, first of all, pay attention to what you're talking about, and it allowed us to reflect. So that was a great way to interact with your audience. The content was very inspiring. You did a great job at presenting examples of people who actually had to have grit. So that was excellent. I loved how you broke down the word grit. So that was also phenomenal. And I also enjoyed how you included your own personal experience when you were discussing the drawing challenge that you did. So you gave us a practical example of how you yourself applied this same philosophy to you and your life. Next time, I want you have a very calming and soothing tone. Your voice is very pleasant. For this speech, I want you to work on vocal variety. I think that will help to make the message of your speech more impactful. I also want you to use more gestures. You're talking about grit, so I want to feel the grit. I want to see the grit. I want to hear the grit. So make me feel it. And then at the end of this speech, and I'm not sure if you were aware that you did this, but you said that I'm going to leave you with this, and then you gave us some tips, and then you came back to that same line. You said, I'm going to leave you with this, and you asked us a question. So that's just something that you may want to switch up next time you present this speech. I do want to challenge you to put your notes down. I think you knew the content. I don't think you need the notes. So next time you do this speech, put the notes down. Then you also were very good at making eye contact, but I want your eye contact to be more intentional. So I want to feel like you're speaking directly to me. Leah, I'm trying to inspire you. I want to see that with your eyes. Lastly, I do want you to do this speech again. I'm not sure if you were at the open house. I think you were, but remember he said you can present this same speech over and over and over again. This was a great speech, so I want you to do it again, incorporate this feedback that you received, and inspire us yet again. Thank
Our third speaker is Uno.
No. Oh, yeah.
And Toastmaster Uno is going to be evaluated by Toastmaster Bethany.
I noticed how Tolu used the technique to pronounce your name. Inu, I'm trying, Inu. That was a wonderful speech. You seemed so comfortable. Your clarity was terrific. And you had good eye contact. You had some vocal variety. In particular, one example sticks out in my memory, and that was when you said, "Nice try, Dad." That was good. I would like some more vocal variety. There's one place in particular where it might have a lot of impact. You opened your speech with a question, which is a great technique to grab people's interest and to get them curious. And you said, "What's your name?" It's a simple question, 4 words, but it strikes terror in my heart, or whatever you said after that. And I thought maybe if you slowed it down and said, you come up to the stage, you say, "What's your name?" Right? Because we think something dramatic's coming and all it is name, right? So it sort of builds. So you can choose places, especially your opening line when it's a question, to use your beats, your pauses, to really build drama. And then we'll be that much more surprised when you say, it shouldn't be so hard, but it is. You had I found the speech very engaging. And this purpose of this project, Unu's project, is to give a speech with purpose. And there are 2 purposes that the evaluation asks me to evaluate her on. A general purpose, which was to inform. She certainly did inform us. I thought it was intriguing. It was I was fascinated by learning about Hangul and how it was engineered to be easy, and then learning why it was easy, and seeing the characters. And the specific purpose, Una said to me, her specific purpose was that to be engaging, so that we could learn well because we're enjoying it. I think your other specific purpose was given by the speech title, which I didn't know until it was given because it got missed from the agenda, and that is so that we could all pronounce your name. Well, guess what? You achieved both. Your slides were wonderful. They were not resplendent with color because that would have been distracting. They were very simple, uncluttered, and bold, and easy to look at. And the best part of your slides is you only had them on for a small portion of your speech. You started without them. You used them as a tool to illustrate something that was much easier to do on a slide than with your own mouth and physiology. And then you turned it back off again. And that was masterful use of PowerPoint slides to support a speech. It was enjoyable. You used humor. You engaged us by asking us questions like, "Are you ready?" And there was a second one, "Cool, isn't it?" And then you made it safe for us to practice saying your name along with you. And so I heard all of us getting to the right pronunciation. So you achieved that purpose as well. Most importantly, I loved your call to action. I loved your message that learning to pronounce someone's name isn't just pronunciation. It's connection and respect. And I think that's such an important message, and I love how you taught us that lesson and how to pronounce your name.
Now we want to hear from a timer to see if everyone qualifies before we vote. For the
There are a lot of deviations. You want me to come there and then speak about it? Or
You can just
should I do that now?
Yes.
The very reason why I insisted to be here and then speak about it is because every speech has to be spoken in a limit that has been given to us, isn't it? That's the primary reason why I specifically asked to making sure I'm here. Larry, on the prepared speech, spoke for 7 minutes and 27 seconds. You were able to wrap it up at the right time. Jody, you spoke for 8 minutes and 53 seconds. I was just wondering when that is going to be completed. Inu, 6 minutes and 55 seconds. Was rightly timed. Table topic speakers, JJ, 1 minute and 1 second. James, 2 minutes and 12 seconds. That's good. Stephanie, 44 seconds. That is not adequate. Chris, that's good. 40 seconds. Cholo, 2 minutes and 06 seconds. James C, 52 seconds. The evaluators, Stephanie again spoke for 3 minutes and 19 seconds. Leah, 3 minutes and 1 second. Beth, 3 minutes and 29 seconds. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll just inform that in this club there's no disqualification, so please, it's time to vote. Take your ballots and cast your vote. We're gonna call it next. So the next help I want to hear from now is the accountant. We'll try.
So I'm here to give my counter report. So speaker one led, it was a great speech. So I found 1 so 3 ends. And speaker 2, Jody, and it was nice conversation again. So there is one clutch word that's it's, and it's not, and 7 ounce that I found. And emu, hope I pronounced like your needle. So I found 1 5 and 1 so. Table topic, JJ, nothing I found. James, all good. Stephanie, 2 ends. Tolu, 2 again. James, 3 ends, and 3 ends. Speech evaluator Stephanie, I found 4 eyes. Leah, 2 ums, 2 so. Speech evaluator Beth, 1 so and 2 ends. Thank you all.
The next helper we want to hear from now is Gravarian.
Mr. GE, ladies and gentlemen and guests, this was a wonderful meeting because so many of you used the word of the day, resplendent. And I think as a result of that, we're going to have a nice sunny day tomorrow. I enjoyed all of the speeches. Everybody spoke with fluency and with good grammar and especially with good diction. which is something we all want to learn at Toastmasters. I always come here for the new turns of phrases, the new words, and the use of language in a way that communicates competence and that communicates a sense of gratitude for being here. So thank you everybody for excellent speeches. All the table topics in particular, I thought, used the short time frame to speak well and clearly, and there were no grammatical errors, and there was a lot of fluency, despite the fact that we were talking about karaoke songs. So thank you very much.
Go to the fun part. Evaluation of the meeting. The meeting started on time for the most part. You have guests today. It's always good to have guests in a meeting. New faces, new experiences. That's good. I can connect with one of our guests, I think Morgan. I was saying your professor introduced Toastmasters to you. Because I used to do that, so I felt guilty when you were saying that. I usually give extra credit to my students. They give presentation, and if they attend Toastmasters with me and they learn how to present that, I give them extra credit. So I'm one of those professors. Another part of the meeting that I like is the inspiration. Do it afraid. I really like that a lot. And I think that also gives a lot of opportunity to come out and try something new. The speeches were very great. Larry, the power of stories. I can just see through the stories, and you were a little bit more lively today, funnier. I didn't know you could be that funny, really. That was good. Toastmaster Jody Smith. The common thread that we all have today, resilience. Grit, very important. We all need to have that. Then the speech from Uno. I also love the speech, teaching another language using alphabet. Now I have to think that if I want to do that to my local language. That was really good. The table topics was very good, very unusual. That's sounds and things like that. I was hoping somebody's gonna sing. I'm supposed to sing too, but I didn't, so I'm also guilty of that. I think it was a great meeting, and I've seen something about Toastmasters that every club is very different. But I'm still gonna give my recommendation anyways. It doesn't matter. So that goes to the leadership to make a decision. One of the things that I like when I go to club is when somebody uses the crutch words to hear the bell. Some people use the crutch word and they're not even aware they use it. So maybe if they hear the bell, that would be nice. And for some clubs, they do it by saying, well, we're going to do it for the members so that they know that the bell is ringing. But for the guests, they don't do it so that it's not disrespectful to them. Another thing is the timing for voting. At the International Convention, the speech that was given, there's reason to believe, there was disqualification on that stage at the international speech on the convention. So maybe we want to think about where we want to consider the time of voting so that we can prepare ourselves for such challenges. And that's all my evaluation.
Our guests, let us know how you felt about the meeting, anything you want to share. We'll start with you, Chris.
I found everybody that got up to speak very inspiring. To know that you all have your own journey to get to where you are now gives me hope that maybe I can also have a good journey along with you. So thank you for making me feel very welcome.
Well, thank you, and I hope to see you back. Ed?
Yeah, I agree with the speeches. They're very informative, very well spoken. So I feel like I'm more educated coming out of here, which I appreciate. And just seeing the format and going through everything is very helpful for me just to get acclimated to how everything will flow. So I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And for you, Sylvia?
Yeah, for me, I I did enjoy all the speeches and I liked the way people spoke. I hope I get to that point at some time in my in my life, and I hope to be here next time.
Awesome, thank you. Morgan, anything you want to share?
Yeah, it's very informative and engaging. I really enjoy the positive atmosphere, and seems like a good time.
Awesome, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I have to agree. I like the speeches. They went from like personal to inspirational. I like the one on grit. It was like, keep moving forward, don't give up. And the feedback, I like the feedback. It's critiquing of a positive, and it's everybody's so nice.
Thank you, yes, this is definitely a supportive environment. We want you to come up here and do another speech, and we want to make sure that we are giving you as much feedback as we can, so thank you. Now into some club business. First of all, I want to thank everyone who participated in any type of way for coming to and helping out with and supporting the open house. Thank you so much. I think it was a big success, so I just want to thank you all, whether you just came, whether you brought food, helped set up, helped clean up. Thank you so much. Next, I want to highlight that we are entering in our dues renewal season. So dues renewal has opened up. So you have from now until April to renew your dues, and that will take you through September. So be aware of that and look in your email. You should have received an email by now. And then the February Toastmasters magazine came out, so look out for that as well. I don't want to step on JJ's toes. Okay. And then if you are interested, this is a few months out, but if you are thinking about becoming the vice president of membership for our next Toastmasters year, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I would be happy to answer any questions you may have about the role and the position and to share what all that entails. So that is it for me. I will now turn the meeting over to JJ.
There we go. Speech contest. So this previous this previous Sunday, Larry and Dallas helped create this area contest.
Area contest.
Always confused between areas and districts and divisions and all those things. In which Unu, Stephanie, and the Carroll Creek Club competed for the international speech contest, and Stephanie.
Switch.
Yeah. I just noticed it now. Stephanie came third in the contest. Unu came fourth.
I'm so sorry about that.
That's perfectly
So,
fine.
can I have a question really quick? Unu, have you ever been called Stephanie before? Because
It's just in theme with what happened on the open house with Larry. We're still, our brass still does.
Oh, there you go.
And Beth placed first in the evaluation contest and Tolu third. So Beth will be going through to the next round at the district, which will be when?
Division.
It's on the agenda.
That's my contest.
It's March 20.
It's on the agenda. March 22nd, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Haverstown Library.
So anyone's welcome to attend.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to attend it, please do. First place speech contest was particularly good. I will say that he was a very strong speaker, and you can definitely learn from his vocal variety and his stage presence on how to deliver a really phenomenal world-class speech. Yeah. And with that said, I'm finally done with my project at work, so now I can finally finish the video I promised to make on pathways. So Hopefully this weekend, I'll have that ready for you guys. Then just let all the new guys know that we do have a mentorship program for people that join up, so that when you join Toastmasters, you're not completely left in the dust. You don't have to wander the woods alone. We will connect you with someone that is experienced with Toastmasters to get you on your feet and to help deliver your first icebreaker speech. So just be aware that you're not completely alone, someone will help you. But if you do want to do it alone, you can also do that. And that's everything from my side. Any questions? Anything I've left out? Alright, and I'm going to hand over back to our president, Aida.
Let me get us off of this typo that I'm embarrassed about. Move that side.
Quite all right. We all, we're here to learn, so we know who everybody is. So, congratulations, everybody, on your contest. That's exciting. And so hopefully I can make it to the next one. So now we're at the portion of the meeting where I get to present the awards. It's one of the best parts of being Toastmaster of the evening, and it is worthwhile to note that you don't get to take these with you. We will take a picture, but then you give them back. We do recycle them. So I think James has the.
Shall I read them from here or from something?
I think I usually.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then.
Oh. Sure, drum roll. Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll start with the best table topic master, the table topic presenter was JJ. All right, and next, the best evaluator goes to Beth. And the winner of tonight's speech awards goes to Unu. And each meeting, the Toastmaster gets to select somebody that's the shining star. And this is somebody that steps up, does maybe something a little above and beyond. And many of you know that I have been challenged with the cameras and the videoing of this meeting so many times. And tonight, I have to say, my shining star was Tom. He stepped up, helped me get the setup. I've got a dual setup going over here, thanks to Tom. And he just really came in and was saved the day for me. So thank you. Camera is being used to film. If somebody wouldn't mind taking the picture, and I think I get it.
Yes, you're in it.
Okay, I'm gonna squeeze it on the end. So.
We're gonna move this. All right, now. All right, 1, 2, 3. Lovely. Thank you, everybody.
There's a little bit of club business left, so I'd like to invite our club president, Aida, back up.
Do any of the officers or any of the members have some business that they'd like to share during this? I know Larry has something. I'm not going to forget you. I'm saving you for last. Saving the best for last. No one? Okay. I do want to thank Tolu for making suggestions to our club leadership. It's very much appreciated, and know that anyone is always welcome to do that. So with that, we have an announcement Larry would like to share.
First, I just want to say wonderful thanks to the staff here, Hugh Gordon and Natalie in front office, for the use of this facility. They're totally on our side. Matter of fact, they did a posting, and I noticed that FCAR liked the post for Toastmasters, so that was cool. However, there's going to be a meeting where we were not going to be meeting here. In March, I'm going to be going in for a hip replacement surgery, and it's like an outpatient thing, and talking about stories. My surgeon, he's such a positive guy, because I wouldn't let anybody cut on me that was negative anyway. But yeah, he says, we're talking about healing time. And he says, 6 weeks you'll be back on a ropes course. So I cannot make, or I think it would be pushing the limit to make the April 3rd meeting. So Aida, this wonderful organizer that she is, has organized or reserved a room, the larger room, I understand, in the library, Frederick Library. So that meeting will be, you will be meeting in the library, and then the following meeting, I will be back here. I may be on crutches, but I will be back here. So don't forget to watch, make sure that you don't show up here on April the 3rd. I'm sure we'll have many announcements. Let me just, I also want to take just a second to follow up on something Leah said. If you are interested in any of the officer roles, I highly recommend you to think about it. And somebody said something about, I don't know, acting scared or whatever. Do it anyway, whatever you want to do, grit. The officers who have been in those roles will be happy to help you. I think Leah is doing an excellent job as our president, and I know that all of us that have had those roles before, we will be happy to help you. So yeah, if you're totally challenged and scared to death to the role, no problem, we'll walk you through it. So just let us know. Be thinking about it. That's it.
I'm going to piggyback on what Larry said, and if you have already done club officer role thing and you want to broaden your horizons, or even if you haven't already been a club officer and you want to reach higher than club, now is the time to nominate yourself for a position at the district level. And to answer your question, JJ, club, area, division, district. And then regionals. And then region, and then international.
And within the club, we have the area director and the division director.
That's right, and they're gonna help their backfills, and I, as newsletter editor for District 18 for the past 2 years, will not be doing it for a third year. So if any of you likes to do writing and editing, please consider taking over my job, because I need someone to take over my job.
Thank you for that, Beth and Dallas and Larry. At our next leadership meeting, Larry, we're going to talk about establishing a committee to help our club identify those that are interested in running for our roles in this coming year, like the manual pointed out. And I'm looking forward to that. So once we know who the chair of that leadership committee will be, and it could very well be Larry.
I think it's supposed to be the immediate past president.
Yeah, so if the immediate past president is interested in that role, he would be welcome to
I think
serve
that's
in
kind
that
of
position.
the role I'm assigned to,
Okay,
yeah, but
that
yes,
would be
absolutely.
fantastic. And then that committee, as I understand it, consists of 2 club members that support Larry in that, so we'll be looking for individuals to fill that role. So if you're interested in being on that committee, let me know. So with that, I think I'm going to close our meeting. Thank you. Oh, we have a picture up here when I gavel us out. Come on up for the closing picture. Can we help you with the picture, Aaron, or do you want my camera? Like, what are you thinking?
I'll just take it.
That's remarkable. Yeah.